Freedom Costs. From Coca leaves to California stars. Jade had spent years unknowing for sure of what to believe. Were her parents ordinary immigrants seeking the American dream? But the truth? The truth was far darker. Her parents hadn't just fled to America for opportunity. They had escaped a nightmare. They lived a life of chains and coca leaves in South America. Before they were Mr. and Mrs. Starr, they were José Camilla and Camilla Martinez, two young lovers born into a world of servitude. Their lives had never truly been their own. Both had been born into poverty in a remote region of Colombia by the Panama border, where the land was ruled not by politicians, but by cartels. As children, they had been raised under the watchful eyes of men with guns, men who controlled everything: the land, the crops, the people. They had no choices, no way out. Only one rule mattered: you work or you die. By the time José was 13, he was already knee-deep in coca fields, cutting leaves under the blazing sun while armed guards watched over him. Camilla was 12 when she was first forced to help process the product, her small hands crushing the leaves, mixing the chemicals, inhaling the toxic fumes that burned her throat. Neither of them knew what life outside of the jungle looked like. Neither of them dared to dream beyond the fences that surrounded them, until they met each other and found a cove in a cage. José and Camilla's love was forbidden. The cartels didn't care about human connection. They only cared about production, about control. And yet, somehow, in that hell, they found each other. José noticed her first, a girl with striking green eyes, carrying sacks of coca leaves twice her size, her arms already scarred from the work. He saw the fire in her, the quiet rage that simmered beneath the surface. Camilla noticed him the day he fought back. One of the cartel overseers had beaten an older worker to death for being too slow, leaving his body in the dirt like garbage. José had clenched his fists so hard his nails dug into his palms, but he hadn't said a word, until that same overseer tried to take Camilla next. José had snapped. He swung a rusted machete at the man's leg, leaving a deep gash before he was beaten unconscious. He should have been executed for that. But the cartel had bigger problems that day. A rival gang had ambushed one of their shipments, leaving them distracted, too busy to kill a mere field worker. Camilla nursed José's wounds in secret, sneaking him food when she could. And from that moment on, they were inseparable. Two souls bound by suffering, by survival, by the desperate hope that there was something, anything, beyond this life. They knew they couldn't escape overnight, but they could build a plan, a way out that wouldn't raise suspicions. They requested permission to move across the border, just over into Costa Rica, where Camilla's mother lived. It wasn't uncommon. Many workers did this, as long as they reported back for their shifts. The cartel didn't care where they slept, as long as they showed up when called, and no one tried to run. So they went. They settled into the small home of Camilla's mother, a humble dwelling surrounded by overgrown banana trees and the thick green arms of the jungle. It was cramped, but safe. For now. It was there that they had their first child, Jade. From the moment she could walk, Jade was different. She was a healer, a protector. She wanted to help things. Whether it was a fallen bird from the nest, a stray dog in the village, or even just the tiny insects that crawled along her fingers, she never harmed, only cradled. She would pick up leaves and pretend they were bandages, wrapping them around flowers that had lost their petals, whispering, "It'll grow back, I promise." Camilla watched her daughter with both admiration and heartbreak. Jade had such a gentle soul, a soul too pure for the world she had been born into. José, too, felt the weight of it. "This is no place for a child like her," he muttered one evening, watching Jade crouch in the dirt, carefully placing small rocks in a circle as if she were building a safe space for ants. Camilla swallowed, nodding. "No place for any child." That night, José took out the small tin box where they had been saving their money. It wasn't much, but it was something. He looked at Camilla. "We have to go, before she gets old enough to understand." Camilla exhaled, pressing a kiss to Jade's sleeping forehead. "Then we plan," she whispered. And so the real escape began. They hid small amounts of money in hollowed-out tree trunks, in the lining of their shoes, even sewn into their clothing. It took them 4 years to save enough to bribe a smuggler. The plan was simple in theory, deadly in execution. They would run in the dead of the night, take a boat across the river, and disappear into the chaos of the border towns before making their way north. It almost worked, until the cartel found out. The night they tried to escape, Camilla's best friend, Lillian, was caught. She was Angel's sister. Lillian had been planning to leave with them, but the guards had found her first. By the time José and Camilla realized, it was too late. The cartel dragged Lillian into the center of the camp and made everyone watch as they executed her. "Let this be a lesson," Don Jefe had said, wiping the blood off his knife. "No one leaves." José and Camilla were devastated, but they also knew one thing. They were next. If they didn't run that night, they would never get another chance. So they ran, through the jungle, through the rivers, through gunfire as the cartel sent men after them, their boots pounding against the wet earth. They ran until their bodies were covered in cuts, their lungs burning, their muscles screaming. They ran until they found a coyote willing to take them across the border for every cent they had. And just like that, they left everything behind. Their pride, their pasts, their country. The truck hummed softly as it idled near a dimly lit gas station, just miles from where the border fence stretched into the endless night. The air smelled of gasoline, earth, and the quiet tension of people who had everything to lose. Inside the cab, José held Camilla's hand tightly, his thumb tracing small circles over her palm. Jade, barely a toddler, was nestled in Camilla's arms, her tiny fingers curled around a strand of her mother's hair as she dozed. The transporter, a wiry man with sunburned skin, dark sunglasses, and a calm that came from years of moving people across invisible lines, leaned against the driver's door. He reached into the small bag of items he had picked up inside the gas station and fished something out. A purple rabbit's foot keychain. With a small smirk, he dangled it in front of them. "Here," he said, tossing it into José's lap. "This is good luck." José frowned, picking it up. The fur was soft between his fingers, the little chain glinting under the station lights. "We need more than luck." The transporter chuckled, lighting a cigarette. "Yeah? Well, luck is what gets people across the border when nothing else does." He exhaled smoke through his nose, watching Camilla adjust Jade's blanket. "Besides, ain't just luck. It's a reminder, a charm. Something to hold on to when you need it." Camilla glanced at José, then at the rabbit's foot. She took it from him, rubbing her thumb over it as if testing its worth. "Do you believe in that kind of thing?" she asked quietly. The transporter shrugged, taking another drag. "I believe in whatever gets people through the night." José sighed, tucking the rabbit's foot into his jacket pocket. He looked down at Jade, peaceful and unaware of the world they were leaving behind. "If this works," José murmured, more to himself than anyone else, "we'll owe more than just luck." The transporter nodded, tossing his cigarette to the ground and crushing it beneath his boot. "Yeah," he said, opening the truck door. "You'll owe faith." And with that, the truck rumbled forward, carrying them toward an uncertain future, where fate, faith, and a simple rabbit's foot would play their parts. When they arrived in California, they arrived as ghosts. 3 people with no papers, no real identities, no family. So they reinvented themselves. They changed their names to Mr. and Mrs. Starr, blending into the hustle of Los Angeles, working any job they could find. José worked in construction, taking whatever under-the-table jobs he could find. Camilla worked as a housekeeper, cleaning mansions owned by the rich and powerful. They hid their past from Jade. She would never know the life they had lived. She would never feel the weight of 100 pounds of coca leaves in a barrel, or on her back tying her to farming as if it were cuffs around her wrists. She would be a star, their star, and for a while they thought they had won. They had escaped the cartel's reach. They had started over. But the past was never truly gone, and when the Beltran-Levia cartel finally found them, that day on the Erie Road, we knew there was no mercy left to give. Chapter 9. Rebirth of Nunu.
I don't have a